And welcome back. This is your man Warrior. This is another patron roster review. This is Whisper. Whisper is from Bulgarian Republic, and Whisper is completely free to play. Now, he's been playing since the beginning, which is why he's been able to get what he's got. A lot of people see the 7-star Darth Nihilus, and that was a shard shop purchase slash purchasing through the shipments, which anyone can do with your dailies. He's doing very well in Arena, which does give him a lot of crystals daily, which allows for him to purchase more out of the store than normal. You'll see when we get to his roster that things fall off pretty quickly, as they do with free to play. It's not a very deep roster, but what he has is very good. He wants to know just kind of how to tweak his Arena team and Heroic AAT. That's it. Heroic AAT in that. But on Heroic AAT, aside from the teams, for what he has, he wants to know kind of how to mod the characters. So this will be the first time I actually go through mod sets, specifically like which mod sets you should be putting on which characters. And so really quick on Arena, we're going to kind of blast through Arena pretty quickly, because the truth be told, you're doing very well. Darth Nihilus is a great lead. Sith Assassin is excellent, and you need to have her on there. You could put Darth Vader in the lead. That's going to make this team a little more durable on defense, and it will probably chew through a team as fast as Darth Nihilus. You do have Count Dooku and Savage, and so your Sith, I mean, you've put basically all your eggs in one basket, and you've spent, you know, the last 8 months developing everybody you could in Sith, and that's great. But so basically, you've got a really, really great synergy with Sith. I would stick with an all Sith team, and I would pull out of here. Sith Trooper is excellent. You've been using him, so that's wonderful. You could put in Savage as the cleanser, but you would want to Zeta him if you put him in, or you could Zeta Count Dooku and put Count Dooku in. Both of those are excellent, especially Count Dooku under Darth Nihilus with all of the countering. He's going to gain a ton of health. He does not gain his protection, and you wouldn't need a Zeta if you use Darth Nihilus lead with Count Dooku. But if you want the protection regeneration, you need the Zeta, and I would put him under Darth Vader if you want the protection regeneration. Either way, you have a lot of great leaders: Darth Maul, Darth Nihilus, Darth Vader, Emperor Palpatine. All four are phenomenal leaders. And then, of course, you could use your Sith Assassin, Sith Trooper, and my thought would be Savage. I know they've shown videos of Savage soloing phase 1 of the Rancor. It is possible, and you do not have Brute Unique done yet, so you would have to invest in that. But it's a possibility, and it would give you another character for the phase 1 of the raid. All right, and then just the last thing, Sith Trooper, you want him to be as tanky as possible. With your Darth Nihilus, you can use health mods, especially if he's leading the charge. You want health mods and then some speed. You want to get him up there around 200 if possible. Emperor Palpatine, you want potency and health sets. And then Sith Assassin, you just want to make her as humanly fast as possible. And with Darth Vader, you really want to use, if you can, offense mods, and then you can, you know, of course, do a bunch of protection secondaries and put in some secondary speeds and stuff on him as well. Now, you didn't ask about Fleet Arena, but I am going to give you just 2 cents on what I see here. It looks really good. You're using the endurance with Biggs. I would put the Umbaran in for Ahsoka. He's more durable as an initial 5, and he dispels on his basic over and over and over, especially if you're doing a target lock team, which you are. You've got the TIE Advanced, which is great, and then I would the Imperial TIE Fighter, which is great. But the Slave 1, I would actually pull out of your initial lineup and put your Scimitar in the initial lineup. So pull Slave 1 and pull Ahsoka to put your Scimitar and your Umbaran Starfighter in. And then in the backup 3, what I would do is I would do, of course, Slave 1 is your initial backup, and that's because the other team, the whole primary 5, are going to paint the other side with target lock, and he'll come in first and wipe away a ton of the opposing team. Number 2 I would have in your backup lineup is Ahsoka. That way, if you lose Umbaran or you just need some additional dispelling, you can bring her in whenever you would like. But number 2 in the lineup for defensive play. And lastly, because you don't have a ton to choose from, I would choose Wedge, Antilles X-Wing. It's one of the more durable fighters, and it can do quite a bit of damage. So this would definitely be the 3rd in the lineup. So Biggs, Umbaran, Imperial TIE Fighter, TIE Advanced, Scimitar, under Endurance is a great team. Just switch the 2 out for, you know, the Slave 1 and Ahsoka out for the Scimitar and the Umbaran. Everything else in ships looks really good. Now, really quick before we go to the heroic AAT, I just wanted to bring about 7 characters I feel like you should either continue to gear, which you may already be gearing, or you need to get them because you do not have them. Let's go ahead and check this out. Number 1 is Rex. Rex is gear 9, 7-star, so you're going to want to continue to develop Rex. I'm sure you are working on him, but if not, slap him in your favorites and work on him. The other 4 come directly out of Rebels, and I know that you're a Sith fan and not a Rebels fan, so I apologize in advance for giving you so many Rebels to work on, but I highly recommend these for the raids and for other areas in the game. And number 1, you'll see him at the bottom, is Bistan. Bistan is an amazing turn meter reducer. He's one of the 2 best Rebel turn meter reducers in the game. You'll use him. He's amazing. I would definitely consider farming him up. Number 2 is Jyn Erso. You have her already at 6 stars, so she's getting close. And the cool thing about Bistan and Jyn Erso is they're the best 2 turn meter reducers in the Rebels, and some of the best turn meter reducers in the entire game. They're like Tebow. They're amazing. And you only really need them to gear 8 or above, which everyone free-to-play should be able to get a character in less than a week up to gear 8 pretty easy. And so you should be able to get her and Bistan where you need them for the raids. The next I'm going to suggest is actually Ezra Bridger. He's a Jedi and a Rebel. You have him 6 stars, and it looks like you already put his abilities up other than push through. So it looks like you have focused on Ezra, and I would highly suggest continuing. He's going to help you in phase 1, or you could even use him in phase 2 or phase 4 of the AAT raid. And he's just a really fun character to play. So continue to develop Ezra. And the last 2 out of Rebels that you have not developed, and you can't see them in here, is going to be Chirrut and Baze. Now, I know you're probably irritated with Chirrut and Baze. You don't have Chirrut and you don't have Baze, and so you're probably like, screw them, I'm going to figure out life without them. I will tell you that would be unwise. Chirrut, you can get out of shipments, and so I would start to avidly farm him. Even at the 3-star unlock, he is completely viable, and you can get him up to gear 8 pretty easily. Baze, same deal, except for Baze you can get out of shipments. If you cannot unlock the node for Baze, I would just purchase 3, just like you did with Thrawn. I would do that with Baze. I would buy 3 of his shards for 150 crystals until you have them unlocked. Both will be viable at 3 stars if you use them together, and they're almost a necessary evil in this game. They will give you some ability in arena to change your team up, because currently you're really kind of all in on the Sith and you don't have a whole lot to branch off to. All right, now that we figured that out, we're going to go through the 4 phases of heroic AAT, and we're going to tell you with these characters geared up and leveled up and modded right, you should be able to get pretty easily between 200,000 and 500,000 with a Jedi team for phase 1. You would do Qui-Gon Jinn leader, Yoda, Jedi Knight Anakin, Ahsoka, and then Ezra. But in the meantime, you could use your Ima-Gun die since he's 7 stars, but I would eventually switch over to Ezra, having Qui-Gon Jinn as the leader. And with all of them, speed equals offense. So you really, really want to do critical chance and critical damage mods so these guys do as much damage as possible, but have as much speed secondary as possible as well. The higher you get them, the more offense you get. So you get 3 times their speed. So if their speed's 200, you get an additional 600 offense. Pretty awesome. For phase 2, I often recommend Sith for phase 2, and you can get anywhere from 400,000 to over 1.2 million pretty easily in phase 2 with a Sith team. And since you have it, it's kind of the path of least resistance. I would do Darth Vader lead. Boba Fett, who's the only non-Sith on this team, I would put Boba Fett on here. He works phenomenally well with Darth Vader. And then Darth Sidious, who you've got over to the right, Darth Maul for the days, and then also Darth Nihilus, so pretty cool. As far as Darth Vader, you'll want to mod him with offense and speed, Boba Fett with critical chance and critical damage, Darth Sidious with probably, you know, health and potency. You want to make sure he's applying those debuffs, and then his health is low, so you want to get that up. Darth Maul, you'll want to have some potency and health, but not a whole lot of potency. He'll boost his own potency up. And then Darth Nihilus, you really want speed, get him a little faster, but also health, and then some protection secondaries. For Phase 3, I would recommend a TIE Fighter Emperor Palpatine combo, but I would recommend you getting Chief Chirpa. That's the last of the 7 characters I think you should farm. I did mention Chirrut, Baze, Rex, Jin, Bistan, and Ezra, so I would recommend adding Chief Chirpa to that list. You do not have Chief Chirpa now, but I would work on him and get him there. In the meantime, I would do Emperor Palpatine as the lead, TIE Fighter pilot, Royal Guard, your Grand Moff Tarkin, and Stormtrooper Han, who's not listed here. He's in your Rebels. This Empire team, or this Empire mix blend team, can do 600,000 to 1 million pretty easily, with, you know, Emperor Palpatine and TIE Fighter pilot doing quite a bit of damage. Emperor Palpatine, you'll want protection and health. And then for TIE Fighter pilot, you want a lot of critical chance, so that way he can get his tenacity down, and then also a lot of speed secondaries, but he's going to go fast under Emperor Palpatine already, and he's naturally fast as well. Royal Guard, some potency, and then of course those protection secondaries. And with Grand Moff Tarkin, say that 5 times fast, you're going to want as much potency as possible, so because he's got a special ability where he can do damage that's equal to his potency. So you want to make sure you can get that up. Stormtrooper Han, it's just really about health and protection. Try and get as much health and protection because he's a tank. But this team's not bad. And then for Phase 4, you're going to be using your Stormtrooper Han in that Phase 3. So Phase 4, I would recommend this Rebels team. This Rebels team can get you an easy 600,000 to 1 million as you have it. I would do probably the Wedge Biggs combo with Wedge as the leader for the turn meter and health gain. Of course, Biggs underneath him, and Biggs and Wedge are both going to be critical chance, critical damage, with a little bit of speed secondaries is fine. I would also add Admiral Akbar into this, Princess Leia, and R2-D2. Those are the 3 next best tunes that you have. R2-D2's burn does 15% damage, which on the tank turrets is a lot of damage because of how tanky those tank turrets are. So it's surprisingly effective. You will need potency on R2-D2. Critical chance and critical damage mods with speed secondaries on basically everybody else. And with Phase 1, 2, and 3, and 4, you should be able to do easily as a free-to-play with those 4 teams that you already have established, roughly between 3 to 4 million damage total in a heroic AAT, which should, in your guild, put you easily in the top 5 or top 10 placement for great rewards. You can do more than 1 attack per phase, but with free to play, you only have so many characters, and I don't know you have a bunch more teams that you can really develop for these phases. So Whisper, you're doing awesome as free to play. You are hyper focused on Sith. That's the way to do it. I tell you to do it that way, and you have been, so very cool. Bulgarian Republic, I hope they're taking care of you. If not, find a great guild that is, but I think they're taking care of you, and so if they are, then awesome. What is everybody else's thoughts for him? Leave them in the comments down below so he can read what your thoughts are on his team. As always, keep your gaming on. Warrior out.